Now, your brother coaches over at Saginaw Valley State. Is that correct?
He's a wide receiver coach at Saginaw Valley State. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this the same one that was the All-State linebacker in 2001?
Yep. He's the only one.
Okay. Wait,
Yep.
What's his name?
Dan.
Dan.
Yep.
Okay. Now, do you talk at all to Dan about coaching philosophies, things like that? Do you ever guys sit at the Thanksgiving dinner table and break down a little football film? Or?
Well, hopefully not Thanksgiving, because hopefully we're playing and hopefully they're playing still too.
Right.
But there's a few texts every week that go back and forth between him and I. And, when it's the off season, he's over there. That's his job. So I don't get to see him a lot, but we do talk a lot more on the phone during the off season. And we usually have one family vacation a year. And my mom doesn't really like us to talk about football during those times. So that's what the phone calls and the texts are for. So, and we talk about just anything football-wise. I mean, he's got a pretty good receiver over there, makes him look good. And he asked me some opinion of a couple things for him last year. I was pretty stoked at that because it was kind of neat for a college coach to ask just his lowly brother,
right,
high school coach, some advice. So I thought that was kind of neat. But we kind of bounce things off each other every once in a while. So
Good stuff.
Cool.
Absolutely. Now, you've known Coach Sirwan a little while.
Yeah, I've known him since the early 90s. We played football together there at Catholic, and we've been coaching together for quite some time now. I can't remember the year he came over, but we've been around each other for quite a while. So.
Okay. What year did you come back to start coaching at MCC?
My first year, I coached JV with Shane Fairfield in '96.
Okay.
And then I took a couple years off, and I came back in '98 and coached JV with Chris Martinez until 2008 with the varsity when Mr. Perry decided to retire.
Okay. Now, what's it been like seeing a childhood friend and you guys kind of come back together and you're coaching together, and now all of a sudden you guys are two of the four coaches really that handle this varsity team?
Well, it's kind of neat. I've always got along with Steve. We kind of hung out a little bit here and there in high school, so, we both want to win, and we want to put the best product we can on the field for the kids. And, we're both kind of driven guys. He likes to win, be out there with the kids, and I like spending every day with him. So I spend all year. I'm at the school, so
okay.
And him teaching there, I've seen him probably every day for probably too long, but it works out, and we both got the same goals for this team this year, and I don't think we're going to put every effort we can into making that happen. So
absolutely. Talk a little bit about the weight room, because Coach Sirwan said that's a favorite place of yours. And, some of these guys on this team, even though they're young, have made significant strides in the last year in the weight room, and it's really starting to pay dividends out in the field.
Yeah, a couple years ago, I was Mr. Holmes we never had a strict lifting regime,
okay.
Like a regiment. This is what we're going to follow. It was kind of like, kind of show up. We'd kind of say, hey, you need to do this. Well, when Steve got hired this year, he said, I kind of said, yeah, I can make a book. Kind of like the college guys. They come back and they have their summer lifting all mapped out for them. So we kind of went into that way. I kind of made that up. I contacted a few college strength coaches, talked to them, even my ideas, kind of bounced those back and forth, and we came up with what I think is a pretty good weightlifting program. Of course, that's all we'll change it a little here and there.
Right.
And the kids, the dedicated kids who come in and lift are going to see some pretty good results. And we've had a couple of those. It helps that they are getting bigger and stronger at this age too. But you can really tell the guys who are coming in to work. One of the strongest kids I've seen, Jaden McPherson, who plays defensive tackle and defensive end for us. I've never coached a kid this strong. He's an animal, and we call him all day, because he would lift all day if I let him. So I got to kind of scale him back a little bit and, make sure he's getting adequate rest for himself. But nowadays with football the way it is, you need to have these kids lifting,
right?
And if you want to be successful. So we've kind of instilled that in them, and hopefully they continue with it in the future. So.
Well, let's talk about the Trojans now. Obviously a huge game coming up Friday night. They're fighting for a playoff berth. You guys are fighting for a playoff berth. I guess let's start with your primary assignments up on the line. How's your line going to match up with that Trojans line?
Well, they got a pretty decent sized line. They got some big kids over there in Fruitport, so we're just going to have to be physical up front, try to control the line of scrimmage on either side. So, if we can do that, I think we got a pretty good chance to win the football game. If we don't, it might be more of an uphill battle. So we're gonna, we've had some pretty good practices this week, and we're just gonna keep teaching them to be physical and go out there and control the line and let our backs that can make some plays get out in the open, hopefully offensively, and maybe put some pressure on their running game defensively. And if they pass, we'll try to get in their face, maybe knock a few footballs down to the ground, and just control that 3-yard space that's one of our goals.
Okay. So, and it's been one of the things that you guys have really done the last 5 weeks especially.
We've been pretty fortunate the last few weeks. We've been playing well. I don't know if that speaks to us getting better or the level of competition hasn't been as good. I would like to think we've kind of improved as the year's gone on. So we've been able to control the line, and then you see the outscore, the scores being the outcome the way they have been. So.
Now, as a lifelong Muskegon Catholic guy, and basically since you played, it's been an independent school football-wise. Fruitport's a member of the Lakes 8 Conference, which is going to be the Lakes Conference next year. Does something like that excite you, seeing that you're going to get more local rivalries, or are you kind of miss out on some of those road trips and things like that?
Well, we always like the color tours in the fall. We're kind of used to going up to Traverse City week 9 and seeing the colors and stuff. So that works out okay. But, having 5 of our 9 games scheduled for us is benefit.
Yeah.
So usually we're talking about trying to find a game in March or April or May. Right. Well, this year so far for next year, we're only looking for 1 game.
Yep.
So hopefully we can find somebody that can step up to the plate and want to play us. But that's Coach Zerwan's job and our athletic director's job to go out there and find us a worthy opponent for Week 8 next year so far.
All right. That is Scott Federosi. He is an assistant coach here on Muskegon Catholic Central's football team. Coach, thank you so much for joining me here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Just want to remind people of a couple of things coming up. Of course, the Crusader Kickoff Show will be this Friday night with John McKay and Jim White. That starts at 5 o'clock, and we're going to be live on location out at Fruitport for that. At 6:45, Pat White and I will take over with a broadcast as the 5-2 Crusaders take on the 5-2 Fruitport Trojans. Of course, every Wednesday night, we are back here live at Pines and Courts Pub and Grill from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Coaches Show. I also want to thank our partners over at DSE TV. If you didn't get a chance to hear the whole show, or if you want to see what's happening at the show, tune in tomorrow night at 6 p.m., Friday morning at 6 a.m., and Saturday morning at 6 a.m., and you'll have a chance to watch the Coaches Show. So we want to thank our partners over at DSE TV and their friends over at the Health Hut who helped make that broadcast happen. Finally, for people who don't know me, I'm going to just put a quick plug in for myself here because I got a big event coming up. I work for a nonprofit organization called Humanity for Prisoners, and we are having a benefit reception tomorrow night. It's no charge to attend. We have a silent auction and a cash bar and free appetizers. So a pretty good event over at the Harborfront Grand Hall in downtown Grand Haven above Portobello Restaurant. So I invite everybody listening and everybody out here at Pines and Courts to stop by there tomorrow night and take a look at what I do for my regular job. So for everybody, I want to thank John Roberts and Leslie for coming out here. Jeff Rose back at the studio for the producing this show. For everybody else, my name is Matt Chapkus. Thanks for tuning into the Coaches Show. Have a good night, and God bless.